Two young men have been detained following the murder of Mikael in Skärholmen. They are suspected of serious protection of a criminal, according to the prosecutor. Last Wednesday, Mikael, a 39-year-old father, was shot dead in Skärholmen in southern Stockholm. 3 days later, the police announced that two individuals had been arrested and detained. They are suspected of involvement in the murder, but the police have not disclosed the specific allegations. I won't answer that question as the preliminary investigation is still in a sensitive phase, stated Daniel Wichtel, the press spokesperson for the Stockholm police. According to him, the individuals were arrested on Saturday. Currently, the police are not releasing the gender and age of the individuals, nor what led to the arrests. Helena Ekstrand of the prosecutor's office press service stated that the two young males detained are suspected on probable cause of serious protection of a criminal. The detentions probably happened just now before the police released the information. I do not know when the arrests took place, she said. She was unable to confirm whether the arrested individuals are adults. Over the weekend, there was an increased police presence in Skärholmen to enhance safety. The mounted police were also present on Saturday. Report: seen leaving on bicycles. Mikael, the father, was heading to the swimming pool with his 12-year-old son early Wednesday evening. En route, he confronted a gang at a pedestrian tunnel, according to Aftonbladet. During the confrontation, Mikael was shot dead in front of his son, who then called the police. According to Aftonbladet, several individuals were seen leaving the pedestrian tunnel on fat bikes after the shooting. On Friday, Max Akerwall, the deputy chief of police for South Stockholm, told ReadIT that the police have a relatively good understanding of whom they are pursuing following the murder. A moment of silence was held in the tunnel where Mikael was shot dead on Saturday. Several hundred people gathered at the site to show their support. A key figure in the Skärholmen gang is under investigation for involvement in Mikael's murder. According to reports, the teenage boy has previously been wanted by the police and is suspected to be an enforcer for the gang. He is also recently suspected of recruiting the two boys who were requested for pretrial detention, sources say. Previously, two boys in their late teens were arrested after the murder of 39-year-old Mikael in Skärholmen. They are suspected on probable grounds for serious protection of a criminal. On Monday, the prosecutor requested the men be detained. One of them is suspected of committing the crime from the day Mikael was murdered, April 10th, until April 12th. The other man is suspected of serious protection of a criminal on April 12th. The detention hearings are scheduled to take place on Tuesday. Aftonbladet reported on Sunday that a third person was arrested, something the prosecutor's office initially denied but now confirms. This person has been requested to be detained today for a serious weapons offense in the same case, committed in March of this year. According to Aftonbladet, one of the arrested had cleaned a bicycle. Police also found a bottle of acetone during his inspection. Another individual is of high interest in the investigation. The boy, also in his late teens, is a key figure in the criminal network known as the Skärholmen gang. He is under investigation for involvement in Mikael's murder. The teenager has previously been known as an enforcer for the gang. He has already been wanted and the police believe he is being hidden, according to reports. Recruited the detained. The wanted teenager has, according to reports, recently recruited the two detained to the Skärholmen gang. He has previously been convicted for several minor drug offenses and is suspected of various crimes including robbery, attempted theft, assault, vandalism, and drug offenses. Murdered in front of son. Father Mikael was on his way to the swimming pool with his 12-year-old son early Wednesday evening. On the way there, he confronted a gang at a pedestrian tunnel, according to Aftonbladet. During the confrontation, Mikael was shot dead in front of his son, who then called the police. The people who live there or visit the place speaking their mind. This isn't Skärholmen anymore. It's become normal to see armed youths now, says Zohra, who has lived in the area her entire life. Residents of Skärholmen are visibly shaken after several shootings and the murder of a father. Many testify to how the insecurity affects their daily lives. A few days after a 39-year-old man was shot to death in a pedestrian tunnel in Skärholmen, people are still visiting the site. Some light candles and lay flowers, while others pause to look at the memorial. They all share a sense of resignation. Zohra is one of them. Having lived in Skärholmen her whole life, she no longer recognizes her neighborhood. "This isn't Skärholmen," she tells TT. "It's become normal with armed youths here now. No normal childhood." She has 2 younger brothers, ages 14 and 16. "They don't have a normal childhood like I did. I could be in the park, play football and basketball. My brothers don't have that. People are afraid to go out. Of course, I worry as a big sister," says Zohra, wiping away tears. She thinks the police are doing a good job of being visible in Skärholmen, which is not on the police's list of vulnerable areas, but has an open drug scene and where several shootings have occurred. "The police presence is really noticeable here. They constantly ask my brothers what they are doing or where they are going, and of course they should be able to do that, but it's not as if my brothers feel safer because of it." Police presence. Martin has also stopped by the memorial. He notes that he, too, feels the increased police presence. There's more police presence now, and it's not the first shooting, but something needs to be done. You don't even know if you can go shopping anymore. Heather and Linda, who came to Skärholmen because it feels important to be there, however, disagree. "Now the police are here, they have a station here, but usually you never see them," says Linda, who works in Skärholmen part-time. "You get shocked that they dare to shoot someone in the face in broad daylight just 2 meters from the center. It's gotten worse than you can imagine. Unfortunately, it's everyday life now. No one wants to go out at night anymore, that's the truth. It's a disaster, pure and simple. 2 days have passed since Mikael, 39, was shot to death in front of his 12-year-old son. No one has yet been arrested. Among the residents of Skärholmen, frustration is growing. It's so tragically sad," says Kristen Nygren. "The flowers have piled up in the pedestrian tunnel in Skärholmen in southern Stockholm. Roses line up, and amidst the sea of flowers lie photographs and texts about Mikael, a father who was on his way to the swimming pool with his 12-year-old son. But they never made it. Instead, Mikael was shot to death in front of his son, in what was reportedly a confrontation with a gang. A man steps forward to light candle lanterns in the sea of flowers. He has known Mikael since childhood. He always stood up, and even when we were in school, he was the one who stepped in as soon as someone started fighting," says the man. Where is Sweden headed? Many wanted to visit Mikael's memorial, children, adults, and the elderly alike, to lay a flower and show their support. One person who came was Kristen, who knew Mikael. "It's so tragic that I'm at a loss for words. Like many others, she has been affected by the murder and pondered the question of civil courage discussed after the shooting. A few years ago, I intervened when some were sitting in a car abusing drugs. We called the police because we wanted to stop these youths. But now I would never dare to do it again. It's so tragic to feel this way. That's how I feel now," says Kristen. Tina Poor questions where Sweden is headed. "I'm someone who speaks up. I always have, but now I won't do it. I won't even dare to call the police." Swedish politicians also wanted to visit the memorial. Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson, Minister of Justice Gunnar Strömmer, and the Social Democrats' party leader Magdalena Andersson visited the site yesterday. Anger at the politicians. Muharrem Demirok, leader of the Center Party, was there on Friday. "To speak up and intervene, you shouldn't have to pay with your life, but clearly something went very wrong here, and a life has been lost. It's a terrible event. It shouldn't happen. People should feel safe and want to speak up," he said. But the politicians' visits also sparked frustration. "You have the right to be angry, really holy anger and sadness. Sweden is a country known for its high trust, where we dare to trust each other, and that's one of the incredibly serious effects of this. I understand that people hesitate, and to all of them, I want to say, we must continue to stand together," says Ebba Busch. Suddenly, she was interrupted by a woman who expressed her anger. "You have been too nice and soft. Do something now, you who sit in parliament. You must do something. People are afraid to say anything," says Lillemor Akerström to Ebba Busch. In Skärholmen, the police have an extra presence over the weekend. What has happened is completely unacceptable and terribly sad. It shouldn't be able to happen in a functioning society. All thoughts are with those affected. We still do not know why this happened, but it wouldn't happen if young people weren't armed, said Katrine Kamirius, chief of the police area Stockholm South, in a statement. On Friday, no one had yet been arrested suspected of the murder of Mikael. However, the police have a relatively good understanding of who they are chasing in Skärholmen, says Max Akerwall, deputy chief of police area Stockholm South, to ReadIT. My own thoughts, the violence in Sweden is getting out of hands and have been doing so for a year or two. So since it's a horror story on its own, I made the decision to post updates on this and coming events happening in real life here in Sweden from time to time.